Hey y'all,
Hey everybody.
I'm so excited to be
I
back
have had an amazing
for
time
another season
talking to you
of
guys
Catch This
about
Now,
gaslighting.
where
I
we
hope
have engaging
you have caught
topics
up
that
on
will
all
educate you
previous
so you are
episodes
enlightened with
because
the
this
tools
is the
and
last one.
techniques
And what we're going to
that
do
you can
here
use
is
to
we're
do
going
the
to talk
work
about
on your journey
some
to being
tips
the
and
best
things that you
version
can
of
do
yourself.
to
In
help
this
you
season, we will
fight
cover
against, if you
gaslighting,
will, gaslighting
identifying
and things
gaslighters,
that you need to
warning
understand
signs,
as it
and what
relates
you can
to
do
people that
if
are just
you are dealing with a
manipulators.
gaslighter or if you're a
Man,
gaslighter. My name is
we're going to
Tiffany.
jump right into it.
I
I hope
am your
everybody's
host,
having a
and my
fantastic
hope
week.
is that you
And
catch
let's get
all
going.
of this
So,
now, so you
what
won't
can
get
we
caught
do
up with it later.
to
Let's
protect ourselves or guard ourselves from being manipulated or gaslit, if you will? One thing that I like to suggest people to do, which is the whole reason why my podcast and all the other adventures, if you will, that I am on are in place. And the reason I really became a social worker, a therapist, is that I want people to be aware. And when you have good self awareness, that is one way that you can actually help yourself not get so wrapped up or manipulated by other people. Now, self-awareness is an everyday journey that we all walk through and that we're all doing every day. Just becoming a little bit more clear on your self-confidence, on your self-esteem, on all those things that you are responsible for when it comes to your day-to-day life. Usually what happens again, manipulators come in, they gaslight us into believing that what we say or what we think is not true, and then they subsequently take over and they're the authority figure, they're the decision maker, and they're the power over who we are as people. So I want to first encourage you to build your self-awareness. And how do you do that? Great question. You got to spend time with yourself. I know it sounds easy. I know we live in a society that tells us, it may be selfish, but it's really not. You really need to get with yourself, learn how you operate, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and go from there. I am reading a book. If you've gotten my newsletter from last month, I'm reading a book called In Sheep's Clothing. Make sure you all sign up for those newsletters. It is absolutely free. You can visit my website, www.tiffanyempowers.me, to sign up, because I do put out a book every month that I'm reading, and I hope that you read it, because I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want you to go and search for yourself and get some understanding for yourself. So again, when you are having these conversations with your family and your friends, you have firsthand knowledge. And you're not just saying, well, Tiffany said. No, I want you to be just as knowledgeable as I am on any topic that you're speaking about. But the book is called In Sheep's Clothing, Understanding and Dealing with Manipulative People by Dr. George Simon Jr. Man, what a game changer in the book. So I'm going to give you some of his tips. Also, some tips that I got from therapistaid.com. And my tip that I just gave you, just become self-aware, learn yourself, and stand on what you know to be true, and don't let people manipulate you. But here are some tips. I hope you got your pen and your paper, and because we're gonna roll with this. Get intimately acquainted with the character of those wolves in sheep clothing. Get to know what they really want and how they operate. Know them so intimately that you can always spot one when you encounter them. Man, right? Hey, I found that very helpful. Number two, become acquainted with the favorite tactics. He called them covertly aggressive people. We call them gaslighters, manipulators. Again, pick your poison, whatever you want to call them. Just be able to identify these people, okay? They use manipulation to control. Remember, it's all about control. And you want to be able to learn what their tactics are and how they implement them. So you got to do what? You got to study people. But in order to study people, you must have studied yourself. That's why I want to keep reiterating to you to learn yourself. Self awareness is truly about you, learning your values, learning your morals, and the things that make up who you are. Number three, Dr. Simon says, become aware of the fears and insecurities most of us possess that increase our vulnerability that a gaslighter, a manipulator, or a covert aggressive person may use. Know that they've studied you. They know your weaknesses. They wait for you to tell the stories and then they turn around and use it against you. Right? And the reason that people are able to use things against you is because you have not, or we have not dealt with situations. I often tell my young adults, I have two of them, I often tell them there is nothing that no one can say about my past that I have not already dealt with. I say that because I don't want to be manipulated by feeling guilty, by feeling shame, by feeling like that was a low point in my life that I haven't dealt with it. So learn how to address your insecurities as who you are. If you don't feel that you are beautiful enough, where is that coming from? What is it about you that says that you're not? And handle that, because people use your vulnerabilities. Not all people, but people in the context of what we're talking about today, people will use your insecurities as a weapon to manipulate and to control you. So let's get a handle on those fears and those insecurities so we won't be manipulated by people. And number four, he also gives us, he says, learn what changes you can make in your own behavior. Uh-oh. To reduce your vulnerability to victimization and exploitation. Here we go. Come on. Come on, family. Learn yourself. What can I change in my own behavior so I am not a victim or being exploited by people? It seems like to me, and if I love to read your comments. In order to spot a manipulator, there's some things we got to do first. It seems like we can't manipulate ourselves into thinking we can't be manipulated. You can be, because we don't address basic things. We don't want to address our own behavior. We don't want to address our vulnerabilities. We don't want to talk about what we got wrong. We don't want to look at our insecurities. And then we find ourselves in these relationships, in jobs, in places where we are truly just being taken advantage of. So I want you, if you will, to learn what you need to change. Empower yourself to do a little bit better by you so that you are not taken advantage of. And I'm not saying everybody in the world is going to take advantage of us. No, but there are people out here that do. And you have to be on guard for yourself, not in a fearful way, but in a conscious way, to make sure that you are in check and you are not allowing people to control, manipulate, victimize, gaslight, and exploit who you are as a person. Here's a few more tips that I got for you also. If you're dealing with someone that is gaslighting you, I think if you're already deep into being gaslit, these tips may be helpful on that end. Talk to somebody that you trust. We do it all the time. Am I tripping? Does this make sense? Sometimes running it by other people can be very helpful to you. So sharing. Manipulators love when you're isolated. Okay? All right. All right. So, and here's the deal. When you're isolated and you've been manipulated and you have now started to self-doubt, you can't even check in with your own gut because that has been damaged. You don't even trust your own intuition anymore if you have been, you're in a gaslighting situation. That's why it is good if you can to talk to somebody that you do trust. This has to be a trusted person that can help walk you through what your thought process is this situation helpful? Are you tripping or not? Number, this isn't a number. Trust yourself again and again and again. Continue to trust yourself. Again, that goes back to knowing yourself. You got to know yourself. Trust your memories. Trust what you thought. Trust what you believe. Learn to overcome doubt with trusting yourself. Trust your gut. Trust that little butterfly effect that we have, that little sensation, or that thought that this is what you said and what you thought is true. Honor those things. Sometimes you need to keep a journal of the reality. Document those conversations, write them down so that they stay fresh. We got gadgets now that we can record, keep a running log, if you will, of the event, so you know that no, this is really what happened. There's I was in nursing school. I've had a lot of things go on in my life, but I was in nursing school, and one of my instructors, her name was Mrs. Buchanan. She always used to say, documentation beats conversation. And it is so true. So if you have a documented record of where you were, what happened, the timeline, it can really help you as you start to gain strength in yourself again when you are dealing with someone that is a gaslighter. And if you can add at will, if you are able to end the relationship with the gaslighter. Healthy relationships involve honesty and safety. If you feel unsafe in your relationship and you can, please separate from them. If you are in a domestic violence situation, that's a totally different conversation for what we're talking about here. This is not this has not turned into a domestic violence situation on the end of what we're talking about. This is emotional abuse. This is manipulation of the mind. The body has not been violated at this point in this conversation that we're having today. That is why I wanted to say that, because what I'm saying, if you can end the relationship with the gaslighter, then you need to do so. Or you can create a safety plan to where you can actually, step one, this is what I'm going to do. Step two, this is what's going to happen. Step three, it may need to be something that is worked out with a therapist, with someone that can help you. Even if you are emotionally tied to someone, you still may need to talk to someone that can help you create an effective plan to get you out of the emotional situation. But make sure you are learning yourself. Okay, I hope that you found all of this information helpful. I hope you share this. I hope you have subscribed and you liked it. Next week, we're going to move on because Valentine is coming up. Love is in the air. And I'm hoping to have some special guests for us all as we talk about love, communication, and marriage. If not, it'll be just me. I might get my husband to come on with us. It'll be fun to hear his perspective as well. Maybe my daughters will join me and a few of my friends, but we'll see. And I don't want you to miss it. So make sure you have liked and subscribed and those notifications are on. Again, I would love to connect with you outside of this podcast. So please make sure you join my monthly newsletter to stay in the loop about upcoming virtual events, savings, and other fun stuff by visiting my website, tiffanyempowers.me. You can find me on all social media as well by searching my name. Until next time, stay engaged, continue to educate yourself, and embrace the enlightenment as it comes.